Boom! Covered halftime live. David Sanchez, Adam Chernoff, Thursday night football, San Francisco 49ers, Tennessee Titans, and we are seeing a very one-sided first half, and I think that's putting it a little bit lightly. Numbers are bouncing back and forth a little bit on that final drive as the 49ers were clocking it out. But Davis, as one-sided as I think it was, or are you seeing anything different?
No, I'm with you. The score doesn't indicate obviously what's happened, but is there any way that Tennessee can stop San Francisco? That's my first thought and only thought. Is there any way that they can stop San Francisco without San Francisco hurting themselves?
Halftime number is out right now. Pick 'em on the number. A little bit of Tennessee money comes in as we don't know. That's DK adjusting, but we're now at Tennessee -1. Total holding steady. This is what we saw going into half. 22.5. Any of those numbers initially standing out to you?
Yeah, if it's a pick, I'm on Niners second half and a pick, and I can tell you why. My opinion is shortly here, but yeah, I like Niners second half. It's a pick.
San Francisco +1 for the second half.
We're getting +1. I'm definitely taking the Niners.
The pick is in. San Francisco +1. Very lopsided first half. 5.6 yards per play for San Francisco. 2.6 per play, which is hard to believe for Tennessee. Titans have 4 drives in the first half. 3 of them go for 8 yards or less. Stat sheet's one-sided, but what are you seeing on the field within the matchup that makes you like San Francisco?
Yeah, I mean, yards per play, the Titans are averaging 2.9 yards per play. But what I'm seeing is if you look at the Titans on offense right now, this game was capped with AJ being in the game and Julio being in the game, but they're non-factors, complete non-factors. So basically you're going with no Derrick Henry and then 2 receivers that are, you're looking at basically these guys are I would qualify them as 3rd and 4th type receivers right now. The way they look health-wise and the way the Niners are guarding them, it's evident that's the case.
Julio, at this point, I think he's the 3rd string receiver in the league. Both of his hamstrings are shot. He's going to have surgery. Whether that surgery comes at the end of his career or before, we don't know. But he's not the Julio Jones we used to know and used to love, creating separation downfield. As you mentioned, A.J. Brown, he was activated off IR officially today. It's his first game back after missing 3 weeks plus the bye. It's awfully difficult to get acclimated on a short week when you only have 1 practice, and with COVID impacting things this week, those practice schedules were a little bit upheaved, to say the least. So it's a bit of a messy situation, but then also I know you're seeing what's going on the left side of that offensive line too.
Of course. Let's think there was a great analogy from Greg Olsen in the first half, and I just locked that bet in. But Greg Olsen was talking about that Janoris Jenkins interception. Now, it was a corner stop where you press the corner and you can run a corner stop, but there's no room to run in the end zone, so it's not a threat to a corner. A tight end can't threaten the corner speed, so he didn't have to get out of there. Janoris Jenkins just sat there and waited on him to run the route. I would say I would use that and look at everything that the Niners defensive backs are doing, looking at Tennessee and how they're backpedal. Watch. Every route that's ran, the Niners are sitting on those routes because they don't respect, like you said, the hamstrings are banged up. AJ's not feeling good, and the run threat of Derrick Henry is obviously not there, even though they've still been having success with the run, in the last few weeks. It's clear to me the Niners don't respect the pass game, and they're sitting on all the routes, and that's just it's simple and plain in that regard. There's no weapons.
None. And what's really interesting to me is at least the commentary crew, this has been great tonight. They keep bringing it up, the inefficiency on early downs. Mike Vrabel, for whatever reason, gets continuously praised as this clever, smart, savvy head coach and in-game decision maker because of a couple one-offs that we saw. But look, the fact is they lost Derrick Henry, who was a massive part of that offense. And Vrabel said, we're just going to do the exact same thing that we've done. And their run rate on 1st and 2nd down has stayed the exact same with or without Henry. And we're seeing tonight how big of an issue that is for them because they're not getting any push whatsoever on first or second down, and it's putting them in these known passing situations. And if you were if the smart game plan here is knowing the left side of your offensive line is down to a third string and a backup, and you want to keep the defense guessing, but they're doing the exact opposite to this point. They're putting themselves in tough third downs, and it's opening up this 49ers pass rush. And even on these screen games where they're trying to get them going left and right, it's just not happening.
If Jimmy Ward and Josh Norman can squat on your routes, that should tell you that you don't have a vertical threat. Right? These guys are not guys who should be able to sit on routes. Also, add this to it too, Chern, is on second and medium, second and long, and third and medium, third and long, the Tennessee Titans are running draws. I mean, we've seen it, I think, 3 different times. Like, that's not, you don't want to put, obviously, Ryan Tannehill, you don't want to put him in, third and long, and you want to be a game manager, but he's better than that. He's better than that. But evidently, with the weapons and the offensive line situation, they don't believe he's capable. And that tells me all I need to know. And that's why I was ready for this number. So I thought it was going to be a pick 'em, and I was ready to jam a pick 'em. +1, I just backed the truck up and dumped it. So let's go.
You get the tie working in your favor. And one last thing I'll add before we get everyone sent back to the couch. Everything for San Francisco so far has been explosive. We're looking at 15-yard or more gains from Ayuk, Kittle, Juszczyk, Samuel, like multiple players getting involved with this. And where I think this becomes interesting is if San Francisco is able to defend the opening drive here from Tennessee, stretch this out to a multiple touchdown game, then that really puts Tennessee and their defense in a bit of a tricky situation, because they're going to have to sell it to stop the run, which San Francisco can do well, but it's also going to keep these explosive passes available for Shanahan, who we know when he's up with the lead, he can put his foot on the gas a little bit with his creative play calling. So it's looking really good. Two ways
the Niners offensively can beat the Titans, and 0 ways the Titans are beating the Niners. 2 ways for the Niners. One is athletically, they have guys that get down the field and make plays. And secondly, they're out there scheming them. And misdirect, everything you see from Kyle, play action, misdirection, all those things. So we have multiple ways to win. It's like in poker when you have a pair and a flush draw or a double gutter. You got multiple outs and ways to hit. I love the Niners in this spot. They have multiple ways to win this game, and I don't see possibly how they don't roll in the second half.
All righty, the pick is San Francisco +1, and something important before we let everybody go. They're a little bit hesitant to jump on the stream, but if Brady and Mick want to jump in now, I think it's important to acknowledge all the work that they've been done as we go into the Christmas break. They're working behind the scenes, running the account, running the stream, getting everything set up. They get a huge amount of recognition. I know people are enjoying watching the show, but it's important to shout them out as we go into the Christmas break. J-Lo will be back with you on Sunday night for Bet Now, Bet Later. We will be back with you for Monday Night Football in a crazy game between Miami and New Orleans, where we don't know who's starting in what position. So that's going to be a lot of fun to break down. For everybody that's been with us so far throughout the course of the season, enjoy Christmas Eve, enjoy Christmas Day, enjoy the break, and we will be back with you on Monday.